On the right hand side here is my Spektrum DX6i, and what's happened is the antenna has snapped at the usual place. And what I did on one of my old Spektrum, on the I think the DX3, I was lucky where the pin had fallen out and I've just replaced the pin, but this is sheared. I can't do anything about that. The pieces have been, well, one piece I found today and another piece has already been lost years ago. On the left hand side is a DX5e, which a friend kindly donated to me, which is in a very sorry state, as you can see. It's got a switch missing and a couple of bungs have gone, and oh, there's a stick missing as well, but the antenna works. So on the base of this antenna there is a broken section, but that doesn't bother me because on the DX6i they are totally different fitting, where it's made up of two pieces there and then a shaft which goes in the center, and that shaft will fit in the orifice right there, the orifice, it will fit right in there, but this bit is too wide and this is too long. So what I'm going to do is cut back that section there and then shape this back, drill a hole through here for that part there to purchase into this, because both this one and that one have got a swivel, and then that way I'll be able to clamp that inside that. Well, that's the plan anyway. Let's see if I can do it. So what I've done is threaded the antenna wire through the shaft and put it inside the antenna, so that, and then put some blue tack on there just so that it holds that area, and while I cut this, there's less chance of me cutting through the actual wire of the antenna, which it's already got a little splice where it got clamped inside the casing. So I'll do a fix on that, even though this is a lot longer than what I need, so I might shorten it and get it to the length that I want and then solder and heat shrink it. But yeah, next. Well, that's brilliant, that worked well. I used a junior hacksaw blade, which as you can see is as straight as, well, yep, not straight at all, but I was able to cut through nicely, and you can see the shaft underneath there. So next. So the inner circumference of our antenna is approximately 13.8 millimeters, or 0.454 of an inch, and then the larger section on that part there is approximately 11.2 millimeters, or 0.44 of an inch. Now what I did was I sanded that back, because we all know from model making and radio control car building that any sharp edges is a total and utter sin. So right, here's a drill right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some sandpaper, and I'm going to basically use the drill as a sort of forming of a lathe, and I'm going to use some, what here I've got is some P120, and I will probably now burn my hand with the friction. So let's give that a go. Just spent about half a minute on that. Definitely not the way to go. Right, let's cut that back, get it as close to that part there, and then I'll do some sanding with the drill, and that'll be far better. So yeah, let's cut that back now. Right, next. The section on the left hand side is narrower than the right, so what I'm going to do is put that part inside the chuck of the drill, and then take this edge as closer to this diameter, and that way I'm not going to overshoot, because if I had kept it in the chuck that way and worked from this side, I would have not had very much meat on there. So yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Right, got me brand new blade in my knife, and some super glue just in case I have an ouchie. Let's get to this. Well, that was definitely more of a successful way of doing it. As I'm cutting, it's stopping at the chuck, and just by holding the drill and then pressing the button, I could turn the chuck and turn it round, and yeah, that worked well. So now for some sandpaper and get it to size, and let's give it a go. Well, that's brilliant. That took about a minute of sanding with that whatever it was, P120, with the drill running at full speed. Yeah, a minute at most, and that has made that spot on to slide in there. So next is drilling the hole, getting it fitted, which I've got to check. I think it was on the back of the handset, so I've got to make sure I've got my orientation right. So I think that's the front, and then that's the back, so I'll have to go in there, but I'll just do a double check and make sure and give it a go. What I've done here is I've mounted the shaft back into the fixing point. That way I know exactly where it sits, so then I can measure off where my screw point is, get the central point on here, and make my incision and screw it all together, and then it'll be done. Right, let's get on with it. I've taken some measurements, so I'm 3mm up, or 0.11 inch up, and then the center point will be 8.2 mil, or 0.32 inch. I don't know what these are in, but never mind. Let's do some reaming. Here's my little reamer. I'll do my dot and then drill that out and get it fitted. Well, first I've got to, well, second, after I've done the drilling, fix this. Right, let's get to it. Well, that is successfully soldered. First I shortened it to be roughly the same sort of size as the original. I don't know whether the longer aerial would have made much of a difference, but it would have been flapping around in here, and we don't want that. What I have noticed in here on the boards is some oxidization. So while I've got it apart, I'll give that a clean, and then I'll call that job's a good un. Thanks for watching. Well, massive thanks for sticking around, you lovely people. I cleaned out the inside, all the boards, using some isopropyl alcohol, and no, actually I did not. Sorry, I'm wrong. This is what I used, which is a very old can which has lost its gas, so I have to squeeze it to get it out. But that's what I cleaned up the board with a nice toothbrush, and yeah, it's all working, and we have an antenna which is lovely. If you do a project like this, don't be a muppet like myself, and because I've done this where I pushed it down, and that's how I found my central point. What I should have tested was how much it turns, which for me, using it on trucks doesn't matter, but I didn't actually find that central point. So yeah, bear that in mind. Thanks again for watching. Cheers.